Fantasy Fuel is powered by Pole Sports. Get instant fantasy football advice through real-time polls by visiting polesports.com.
I'm getting a little low on fuel.
What are you doing, Doc?
I need fuel.
Give me fuel, take a fly, send me tracing out of sight.
Now, here are your hosts, John Eddie Jr. and Tom Tuttle.
And now, it's time for Twat, this week's Antonio Troubles.
I'm sorry, everybody. We have to just start on this. We're going to talk about Mr. Big Chest. Then we'll do a couple of polls on Pole Sports, and then we'll get into the meat of the show. Yeah. But we have to talk about Antonio Brown. Tom just did a Raiders shuffle.
Had to be the worst timing.
Timing ever. And literally the next day we found out about Antonio Brown's feet and his helmet issues.
The feet we already knew about, but I wasn't worried about that. It was the helmet that just threw me for a loop. It's like, really? Not going to play again? Until you get your old helmet back. So, wow.
So, just today, an arbiter ruled against Antonio Brown's grievance to wear his old helmet.
Right.
And apparently on Instagram, AB wrote, "While I disagree with the arbiter's decision, I'm working on getting back to full health and looking forward to rejoining my teammates." So that I would take as good news of him being able to play, and he's not going to be a whiny little baby about not wearing his helmet.
We'll see. We'll see. That is interesting. I think he just has to say, I got to use the helmet. He was probably just trying to see if he could be bullish enough to get his helmet back. But if it was Tom Brady, though, because Tom Brady doesn't like his helmet, the new ones.
No.
But if it was Tom Brady that said, I'm never going to play again, they probably say, okay, you can have it. Grandfathered in. Almost guarantee it. That's just my feeling on that.
It's very possible. Now, it's weird because we didn't necessarily think we'd be using this bump and talking about Antonio Brown this long.
No.
And online, I saw somebody write that almost all of Antonio Brown's issues have taken place now since the Steelers versus Bengals wild card game on January 9th of 2016, after he sustained the head injury from Vontaze Burfict. I'm not sure if there's a correlation, but I'm starting to wonder.
He was perfectly fine before. I've said this plenty of times. He was never a guy that caused any issues, and then all of a sudden something snapped. So, hey, maybe he got hit in the head too hard, and something snapped.
It's so possible.
That's the only explanation.
Do we know if he started dyeing his mustache before or after this injury?
I don't know. We have to do some research on that.
Now, just to pile on to the end of this, apparently a trainer has sued Antonio Brown for unpaid fees and expenses while working out with him. Just thought I'd throw that in there.
Yeah, sure. Do whatever you want. It's Antonio Brown at this point. Just do it.
Antonio Brown. So, you were asking me before the show started if I thought Antonio Brown was going to play.
Yeah.
I have a feeling he will be out there, but man, I am starting to lean towards that third option we talked about before of if he's going to be good and the Raiders are winning, if he's going to be good but the Raiders are losing, and if he's just going to quit.
There's a chance at some point if something's going wrong with the Raiders, he just says, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore.
You know what? I really don't like this helmet. Walks off the field, never to be seen again.
I could see that happening. That's the reality.
Yes.
To where right now we have gotten to see too much of Antonio Brown being ridiculous to where we have to actually pay attention to it.
Now here's the conspiracy theorist part of this. Did the Raiders say, let's find something to get you away from training camp for a little bit so that he doesn't cause a giant distraction on Hard Knocks?
I mean, wouldn't the feet do that in the first place?
That should have been enough.
That should have been enough. The helmet thing should not be. Yeah. I mean, that would be funny. That'd be a great conspiracy. I love it.
All right. Before we get to the rest of the news, I'm going to do a couple of polls because there's a couple in here with Antonio Brown included in them. Right now, a couple just popped up, actually, so we'll do them really quick. Devin Funchess. Devin Funchess. They're popping up as we speak. So, literally, guys, pollsports.com, real-time polls.
Yeah.
It is happening in front of my eyes where people are posting these polls. So, it's already updated again. Adam Thielen or a 2019 108. And it's updating again. So, I'm going to get rid of this one. Adam Thielen or a 108 from 2019. I'm going Adam Thielen.
Yeah, I'm just going Adam Thielen. He's going to help you out a lot this year, and probably, depending on if it's a redraft or whatever it is. But if it's a dynasty, he's going to help you out for at least 2 more years, and there's a guarantee of that. And 108, you don't know what you're going to get.
Right. Okay. People, stop making polls. There's too many people making polls. Chris Thompson or a 3rd-round pick this year. I like Chris Thompson.
3rd-round pick is so much nothing. Sometimes you got to go with the player at that point.
All right, here are the ones that I initially wanted to talk about until people started making all these polls. Who wins this trade? David Johnson, Mike Evans, DJ Moore, which, again, another one popped up, literally, so you can't see it on the screen if you're following us on YouTube or Twitch right now. David Johnson, Mike Evans, DJ Moore, or Drew Brees, Michael Thomas, Joe Mixon.
Dang.
No qualifying information here.
You got to know. I have to know whether or not the quarterback situation is bad for this person, because I like Drew Brees and Michael Thomas, and Mixon I like a lot. And then the other side was
Mike Evans, DJ Moore.
Yeah.
DJ Moore, neither one of us are high on, but he could be a decent
He'd be
player.
fine, but the other two would equal out, or at least close to equal out the other guys, and then Drew Brees to me is just going to be better than DJ Moore.
So do you like Michael Thomas and Joe Mixon more than David Johnson and Mike Evans?
Michael Thomas and Mixon more than Johnson and Evans, yes, I do.
I would agree. Why are these people still making polls? I want to. There we go.
It's not a bad thing.
Yes.
It's just we're trying to focus.
Yes. Okay. So here we go. There's the first Antonio Brown trade because of everything that's going on. Would you rather have Antonio Brown or the 2019 101 and Sammy Watkins?
Yeah, I'm going 101 and Sammy. Just because the 101 to me has a lot of value. It is a dynasty,
so that makes a little bit of difference too.
I was assuming.
Yeah.
The 101 still has a lot of value.
Overwhelmingly 101
right
now.
And Sammy Watkins could be just as good as Antonio Brown this year if Antonio Brown says,
I never thought you would say that.
I'm not a Sammy Watkins fan, but I'm coming back around on him. I have been for a little while now. And just the fact that Antonio Brown is just being ridiculous about everything doesn't make me feel comfortable at all drafting him or even having him on my team. So I want to try and get something out of him at this point.
Here's another interesting one. Because of everything going on, would you rather have Antonio Brown or Chris Carson? I mean, obviously Antonio Brown has more possible value, but is Chris Carson enough?
If I was going to trade Antonio Brown, I'd be trying to get something more than just Chris Carson. Because you probably can. So at that point, I'm still sticking with Antonio Brown.
Yep, and it's about 2/3 in favor of that one. And here's the last one I wanted to talk about. Travis Kelce and Aaron Jones, or Le'Veon Bell and a 2019 third.
2019 third?
Yeah, kind of a throw-in. I mean,
it's
just to keep her league PPR. I'm going Kelce and Aaron Jones.
Yeah, I don't know how else you could go against Kelce and Aaron Jones.
And it was overwhelmingly in that. All right, we're done with polls.
Okay.
As you can see, again, real time. It literally was updating, and people were making polls as I was trying to talk about the ones already there. So when these Sundays come around, Thursdays and Mondays come around.
It's going to be crazy.
Oh,
it's going to be awesomely crazy.
Awesome.
Yep.
But we have more news.
Cringeworthy Player of the Week.
Here we go.
Yep.
Now, this could just be a play by an agent or something trying to get a little bit more out of a deal that shouldn't happen in the first place, but
whatever you got to say.
apparently, Dak Prescott has turned down $30 million a year
Yeah.
and is instead seeking $40 million a year.
Based off of what? I mean, that's the only question I have at this point. He hasn't proven it to get the kind of money that he is trying to get right now. That just
not
take the $30 million. Take the $30 million. What's going to hurt? I mean, you're not a great quarterback. You're fine.
Right.
You're not fantastic, though. You don't deserve to be sitting there saying, I need more money, especially when your running back, your star running back, is doing something similar to it.
And you know what? Every time Zeke has not been on the field, Dak Prescott is a bottom tier quarterback.
Yeah.
It's like a 68 quarterback rating when Zeke is not on the field.
Yeah.
So let's not pretend like Dak is even worth the $30 million a year that he was offered. By all means, as an Eagles fan, give him the money. I will let you take Dak Prescott for years to come. I am comfortable with that.
I have a question for you completely going off bunkers here. Would you rather have seen the Cowboys currently have Dak Prescott or Tony Romo?
I would much rather have Dak Prescott because Tony Romo could actually win games.
Yeah.
He still was a bit on the not-so-clutch side.
Yeah.
But he tried, and he could make all the throws.
After watching and listening to him on all the football broadcasts and everything, I've realized just how smart he is.
Yes.
He could be a defensive coordinator.
He could be.
Just because he can predict the plays of what's going to happen.
Right.
So, yeah, that's, to me, I think he's just smarter than Dak Prescott. I don't know Dak Prescott very much, but it just seems the knowledge that I have from Tony Romo, that seems what it would be like.
Now, after all this, there was actually another tweet out there. His Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott's representatives are not asking for $40 million a year. The source says that is false. So one source says he's asking for it. Another source says he's not.
Sure. What do we believe?
What do we believe?
It sounds like everything.
That no matter how this comes out, I'm smiling as an Eagles fan because they're paying Zeke, who has a lot of wear and tear. They've got to pay Dak if they want to keep him around, and they're going to have to pay Amari Cooper,
at some point,
who is also not exactly a consistent number one wide receiver. So I'm happy however this goes. Pay them men the money.
I would say Zeke deserves it. Nobody else on the team right now.
He deserves it from what he's already done.
Right.
Whether or not his body can hold up to the length of a new contract is a different story. Anyway, I just saw that apparently Jadeveon Clowney's name is trending, and it is rumored that he's close to being traded.
Okay.
And I heard 2-3 weeks ago, Reggie messaged me, Network from Twitch. Yeah. He messaged me, hey, did you hear that the rumor is the Texans are trying to trade Clowney to the Eagles? I'm like, wait, what?
I heard that he was trying to go to the Jets as well.
Oh, really?
So, I think every team has probably heard that rumor.
That's probably what it is.
But yeah, at this point, Clowney's just kind of washed up for me. I don't really need to. It's fine. If you put him on a team, he could be still good, but
he's probably my best linebacker in the flag league, unfortunately. So I need him.
You need him to be good. Yeah.
I'm having some issues at linebacker in that league, but that's time for another day. So our program today is all about
Man Crush.
We're talking about our man crushes.
Yeah.
You hear it from time to time, but today's episode is all about the guys we are loving this year. Some of them you'll recognize, some of them you might not. Some of them are guys that we've talked about before, and some of them are guys that we have dumped on before. At least in my case, I've had a couple that I have not liked in the past, but this year, due to circumstances and transactions, there's some guys out there that I'm starting to warm up to. But before we get to our players, I had a couple pieces of news for man crushes in the past. One of those man crushes for me last year was Jordan Reed.
Okay.
He didn't completely perform, but guess what? He stayed healthy.
That is true.
And that is amazing.
Yep.
And this year was the first time in 3 years he had an off season where he did not have to recover from an injury.
Yeah, well, this could be it. I mean,
we still have him in Dynasty Savages.
Top tier tight end.
Yes,
this is the year.
Top tier tight end. Oh, and your man crush from the beginning of the offseason.
It's still man. I'm giving you a hint. I already know what you're saying. He's still on my list.
He's still on your list.
I don't need to say much more about it, but he's still
there. Apparently on the sideline, Dante Jackson, he was observing Mr. CMC run through the defense, and he said, quote, "He can make you miss in a phone booth, man. He makes you think about every move you shouldn't make instead of the one you should."
I'm telling you, the guy is insane, but we can get to that later.
Yes, we can get to that. Let's start off. I believe we only each have one quarterback on our list. I will let you start.
Well, if you've been paying attention to Fantasy Fuel and me, I have had one man crush for a quarterback, and that has been Lamar Jackson. He right now it's not crazy to think that he's going in the 11th or the 12th round, just based off of what ADP is right now. But from week 11 on, he averaged around 25 points per game.
That's awesome.
Which is really good. It's very close to top 12 quarterback already.
Right.
So you're saying, all right, this guy who barely played last year, played what, from week 11, well, he played a little more than that.
A little bit.
He was the starter after the bye week. So to say that he's not going to be good this year is, to me, a stretch. And they're saying that he's better passing this year so far, and they want him to do more passing. They don't want him to run the ball as much. But
they're still playing to his strengths.
Be real. This guy is a killer when it comes to running the ball. And if he can get that passing game down, watch out. That could be huge. Huge. Absolutely enormous if he does. And that's the reason I like him so much is because of the running ability. And that's really all I have to say about Lamar Jackson, because I have had this man crush on him. Man crush. For a long time.
Yes. And just to add on to that a little bit, I can see Lamar Jackson in fantasy world starting off slow. You're drafting him in the 11th, 12th round, whatever.
Right.
And in certain leagues where maybe you have 4-point passing touchdowns and 6-point rushing touchdowns still, he's going to be a little more valuable. People might snag him up a little sooner. Mm-hmm. And I can see him starting off slow and just making some safe throws and running the ball, getting okay points, but nothing spectacular. But if he stays healthy, and he is healthy around week 8, and the Ravens are in contention for that division, which I've already been on record saying I think any team in that division can win it.
That's very true.
He is going to be a buy low target for me, and I'm telling you all the way out there, if he starts slow and is okay by week 8, they're going to start to unleash him.
Yeah.
He is going to be a quarterback you want for the fantasy playoffs.
I'm telling you guys, man crushing all year. I mean, I was even man crushing last year on this guy.
Yes.
Because I knew the potential that he could have.
Of course.
So, yeah, we can move on to your man crush now.
Man crush.
I just want to thank Brady for all of these wonderful bumps. He's done a lot for me, so thank you, Brady, for these wonderful man crush bumps. My man crush quarterback, it's probably no secret either.
Yeah.
He was a rookie last year as well. He only threw for 2,000 yards, 10 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, but he did have 631 yards rushing and 8 touchdowns that way. Mm-hmm. And that is Josh Allen.
Yep.
And now an off-season as the starting quarterback.
Yeah.
Number 1 reps. We don't have to worry about Nathan Peterman.
Oh, my gosh.
Who just had like a 60-yard run in the preseason just the other day.
And that's the highlight of his career.
Did not throw an interception.
That's unreal.
Just saying. Derek Carr, watch yourself. But yes, Josh Allen is my man crush at quarterback. I am snagging him up wherever I can.
Yep.
I have him in multiple Superflex dynasties right now.
Yeah.
And this guy is going to be good for years to come. He's going to throw interceptions. Yes.
I would say, I'm just going to add something. It kind of feels like he's a poor man's Baker Mayfield. Like, same age bracket,
Yep.
Same draft class, but nobody's thinking about Josh Allen really. Everybody's thinking Baker Mayfield or even Kyler Murray, and that's crazy to me still. But yeah, Josh Allen really has a good opportunity this year, and we going into wide receivers after this because it will lead into it.
Might as well.
Okay, well, if he has a really good, are you done?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
If he has a really good year, somebody else is going to have a really good year, and
I wonder who that could be.
That's my man crush in Zay Jones.
Hold up. He's one of my man crushes too.
Whoa,
Man crush.
Way too much fun with this, but that's okay. Continue.
Yes, in many cases he's going undrafted. Almost every draft I've been in, I haven't seen his name been popped up. I have taken him a couple times, so that doesn't really count. But my prediction for him this next year is at least 75 receptions, at least 800 yards, and I'm going to give him the same amount of touchdowns that he had last year, 7 touchdowns. Doesn't seem out of the realm of possibilities. No. I could see him going for 100 for 1,000. I really could. I don't have any problems going there because if Josh Allen, like you say, is going to be good, which I believe he will be, or at least have improved significantly, you can't be much worse than what he was last year. So let's just be real about that. And Zay Jones last year didn't have a bad year. I believe Zay Jones will have a really good year this year.
And he started coming on towards the end of the year, which is an important thing to note. Because that's when Josh Allen started getting, I think, a little more confident.
Yeah, no doubt.
He was running all year long, but he started actually hooking up with one Zay Jones a little bit more often, and that's why I've had my eye on him. And he was a ESP for you last year, and what did I say? Let's hold that off for one more year. I'm going to bring that one up. If he starts having a good year, we're going to play that soundbite, and you guys will hear it again. So I don't have much to add other than that. So I'm going to do my next wide receiver man crush, and that is somebody that if he could just stay healthy all year long, he is probably one of the best values at wide receiver at the ADP he is going right now, and that is Will Fuller. Deshaun Watson's best bud. Yeah. This guy... He scores touchdowns upon touchdowns without catching that many balls, and that is insane. So if he can stay on the field, this guy might have 15 touchdowns by the end of the year.
Yes. I mean, he only played 7 games last year with 503 yards. So add another 7, that's over 1,000. That's not even a complete season.
Right.
So if he's healthy, like you said, could be a huge year.
Huge year. All right, go ahead with your next one.
My next one is, we've talked about him a few times, and that's Emmanuel Sanders.
Okay.
Last year, Sanders averaged, think about this, he averaged more fantasy points than Keenan Allen, Tyler Boyd, Brandon Cooks, Will Fuller, and Amari Cooper. Jarvis Landry. Alshon Jeffrey, Kenny Galladay, and there's more.
There's more.
But I won't get into all of them. My point is, though, that these guys that I just mentioned are all going before Emmanuel Sanders in almost every single draft. So, Sanders is going like the 11th round or so, maybe sometimes even later. Not on my watch. I'm going to be drafting Emmanuel Sanders before anybody else is because I believe he's going to have a really good year. Maybe not as good as Keenan Allen, but he averaged, when he was on the field, more than all of them players.
It's insane how much disrespect Emmanuel Sanders is getting.
It's true.
Everybody's talking about Cortland Sutton. I've even seen a guy on Twitter is saying Deshaun Hamilton's going to catch 100 balls this year. Like, all right,
fine, but
last year we were talking about, do you take Demaryius Thomas or Emmanuel Sanders?
Right.
And we already said 7th round Emmanuel Sanders, 4th round Demaryius Thomas. They had the same stats. Let's take Emmanuel in the 7th. Do I want him in the 10th or 11th or 12th round?
Yeah.
Duh. That is just insane.
Yes.
So, yeah, I thought about putting him on my list, but I had a feeling he might be on yours.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Mine are all pretty much obvious, except for a couple people maybe.
All right. Do you have another wide receiver?
I do.
All right.
Well, you're all full of running backs, huh?
Well, I've got my tight ends, remember? I'm the tight end guy.
I've got a lot of wide receivers, so I'll shoot right through them.
Yep, there you go.
My next guy is Hunter Renfrow. I've talked about him a little bit. If you listen to my update episode, I talked about him there too. But right now he's currently on the depth chart at the slot receiver position for the Raiders. And Gruden likes Renfrow, and he has been talking about him since he drafted him. But this is what the most recent thing that he said about him was, he can be a good punt returner, which in the flag league is huge.
Right.
He can play in the slot really well. We've moved him around. He can go outside. He's quick. He's fast. He's got sure hands. I'm glad we drafted him. That was a good pick. Now, Gruden, he's done a lot of crazy things and a lot of weird stuff, but if Antonio Brown goes off the wall and he ended up either not playing or cuts out sometime during the year, Hunter Renfrow is going to have a huge year. And I think he's going to have a pretty decent year anyway. And I just read just a lot of little articles about him and the way that he conducts himself, how he is just pushing through every single practice as hard as he can, 100% effort. That's the kind of guy you want to look at, especially when he's getting noticed by the coaches.
I'm going to say I have Hunter Renfrow in exactly one league. That was a startup league that had all the rookies and everything all piled into one, and that was the only rookie that I was able to take. So I've got one guy on my taxi squad in that league, and it is Hunter Renfrow. And I did it based purely off of what you had been telling me before.
Yep.
And everything since then has been nothing but positive.
It's all been really good news after that. And so I feel good about myself for finding this one, because nobody else really was paying attention to Hunter Renfrow until I saw him and was like, hey, this guy looks like he could be pretty good. And here we are. Since we are continuing on wide receivers, I have two more. Right now, I'm going to go with Keyshawn Johnson.
Oh, boy.
It's not going to be easy to shine where there's so much competition at the wide receiver position on this team, but he's already made a little bit of known for himself on this team so far, and he's getting praise. His route running is amazing. That's what I was looking at the first time I saw Keyshawn Johnson. I was like, Keyshawn Johnson?
Right.
Okay, I got to look at this guy. And then they said his route running was about the best that they've seen in anybody in the draft. So I said, okay, I got to pay attention to this guy. And now so far he has made a name for himself.
He has.
And he's got a real chance to be the number 3 guy on that team. I think there's still some things we got to find out still about this team and where all these wide receivers are going to line up. But I need everybody to pay attention to Keyshawn Johnson, because I really do believe at some point, whether or not it's this year or next year or the next year even after that, he's going to be great, and he's my man crush.
There are so many guys.
It's crazy
in Arizona that it's hard to key in on one guy.
Keyshawn.
One guy. But now that I'm done with that stupid pun, yes, I am keeping my eye on everybody in Arizona.
Yeah, of course.
I'm liking what I'm hearing and seeing out of Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
And Larry Fitzgerald to be a mentor to all those young guys is going to be...
Agreed.
It can't be better than that.
Yeah, Larry Fitzgerald's awesome, so... I'll get on to my last and final wide receiver.
Okay,
since you didn't do more than one or whatever.
I got one more.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Oh, well then let's let you speak for a little bit.
All right. Well, he is practically my number 1 wide receiver in the league that I have Hunter Renfrow in, because I went running back heavy because I only have to play 1 wide receiver. Now, it'll probably start the season off as Jarvis Landry, but I might sprinkle in a little Dante Pettis.
All right, yeah.
He is my other man crush. I saw a video on Twitter just the other day. Check this route running by Dante Pettis. And he is just breaking people's ankles, but the quarterback wasn't finding him.
Oh, man.
But that was before or after Jimmy Garoppolo was injured, I believe.
Okay.
So now if Jimmy GQ is actually able to maintain his health, I think he is going to find Dante Pettis, because Dante Pettis is a great red zone target.
Yeah.
And
5 touchdowns last year.
And that's only on 27 catches.
Right, yeah.
So this guy knows how to get in the end zone, and if he can just have a quarterback trust him, which I think Garoppolo can, he's going to have a good year.
And let's face it, Garoppolo has to have a chance to do something here, and I think a lot of it does hinge on Garoppolo. I'm still up in the air on what he's going to be this year, and I think a lot of other people can be that way, but I think there's a chance Garoppolo could go back to what we saw when he first got to that team.
The last 5 games of that season,
we were like, oh my gosh, this is unreal. If he gets back to that, Dante Pettis is going to be huge. Absolutely.
And just, it doesn't mean anything, but I was looking on my fantasy league and their projected stats for Dante Pettis. And even if this is all he gets, which I think he's capable of much more, they're projecting him for 56 catches, 900 yards, and 9 touchdowns.
Yeah.
That's good enough. 900 yards and 9 touchdowns. That is good enough for a flex play most weeks. And if he's any more than that, he is going to be a wide receiver 2 or 3 that you're going to have in your lineup every single week.
Yep, agreed. Now I'll get to my last wide receiver man crush. That one, we could probably agree on some of it, but I've been talking about him all year. It's funny, I have rookies as my man crushes. But DK Metcalf, get ready for a big year out of this guy. I really think he's going to have something. And you got Russell Wilson throwing you the ball. I mean, his floor, to me, is not that low. So it's like his ceiling is astronomical to me.
It can be, yes.
I'm not saying he's going to get there this year or next year, whatever, but I'm saying he's going to have a very solid year, and he's not being drafted super high. So I think there's a possibility there that he could be astronomical. We'll see, but that's just me. I think he'll be a stud in no time.
He does seem to pair well with Russell Wilson's abilities, and that, I mean, that's why they drafted him. We thought the Seahawks were going to draft them about 3 different times in that second round. They kept trading back, and our friend Asa was like, "What are they doing? Just take him." And they still got him with like the last pick in the second round.
It all worked out.
Yeah, it all worked out. All right, we're doing running backs last, I assume.
Okay, that's fine.
So I have the multitude of tight ends, so I will start with tight end. And this guy's been in the league for, 6 years now, at least. Kyle Rudolph.
Yeah. Yep.
I have a feeling that this guy, and he's been fairly consistent. He's always getting 5, 6, 7, 8 touchdowns. He's getting between 57 and 83 catches the last few years. He's getting between 530 and 840 yards receiving. And last year with Kirk Cousins, he had 64 catches.
Yeah.
That's a good amount of catches. He only had 4 touchdowns. I expect that to change this year. I really do. I think he's going to be north very close to that double-digit touchdown marker this year.
I could see that happening. I mean, he's somebody definitely going under the radar. I mean, is he even being drafted in some of these leagues?
It's close.
So yeah, if he's not even going drafted, and if you have a man crush on him, I absolutely like it. I really do.
Man crush.
It's like a turtle saying that.
It's interesting. All right. Well, I've got 3 tight ends. I believe you only have 1.
I have 1.
Okay,
so
ahead. I'm going to go with the other one that I've already talked about. And again, if this guy stays healthy, he is going to be a steal. A steal.
Yeah.
Because Andrew Luck is my MVP.
Yeah. Oh.
And Jack Doyle. Is another one of my man crushes.
Yeah.
This guy, Andrew Luck, loves tight ends. He doesn't just care about one tight end on the field. He can have multiple tight ends on the field, and he will feed them all. We've seen it.
Yeah.
When Jack Doyle was healthy last year, he had games where both he and Ebron did really well.
Yes.
And the year before, when Ebron wasn't there, Jack Doyle had 80 catches, 690 yards, and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Now, he might not be a touchdown monster, but if he can get 80 catches again, that's all you need at the tight end position.
Well,
you can forget about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, he's going to have the yardage to pile on top of that. But, I mean, he's not huge in yardage as well. But he had 26 receptions last year, 245 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I think that's going to improve ridiculous because he's going to be on the field a lot. And if he is on the field a lot, I mean, this, like I said before, I said this could be, and I said this about so many people, so maybe this will be the one time I actually have, this could be the new Gronk and Aaron Hernandez type of thing, to where we see two very viable tight ends on the field at the same time for the same team.
Right.
So we'll see. I like it. I'm not as high on Doyle as you are, but I know you've been man-crushing on him for a while, so I have to pay attention to that.
All right. Who do you have at tight end?
Well, it's really weird. I've been having all these rookies, and
Man crush.
I haven't been super high on the rookie tight ends, but I have T.J. Hockenson in there, and I know they're saying he's not listed at the number one tight end position.
Start the season.
Whatever. I don't need
to.
I'm believing in the hype when it comes to T.J. Hockenson.
Yes.
He's going to have a very, very good year, and he's being drafted pretty late right now. So I'm starting to get that crush, that man crush feeling on this guy. Because why not? I mean, if you can get him late, and everybody else has all these other. I mean, I did it in the draft that we just did, the last episode, the 100th episode. Yep. I got him, and I got another rookie tight end. I can't remember who it was. But that's just the plan for me right now at this point. Tight ends are going so late. These good tight ends have a real possibility, and that's just where I'm going with it.
And I did a mock last night preparing for our charity league draft that we are playing to beat some of the industry people. We're playing for Make-A-Wish. And I did a mock. There's no way I can set up a mock draft for the way this league is, but I did my best. Basically a 2-quarterback league, but we can have whatever we want. We don't even have to have a running back on our team if we want in this style. So I did one, and I took late. I just punted tight end, like I've said before.
Exactly.
I got T.J. Hockenson.
Yep.
I got Noah Fant.
That's
and I believe I took Jordan Reed. And I'm like,
one of them's going to hit. You know one of them's going to hit.
And if none of them, who cares? Because you
don't have to play him. You don't have to play him. Yep. And
so,
that's a great way to do the draft.
But the guy I am trying to get in most leagues, because he is going to climb. I guarantee you he's going to climb higher and higher, and he can't get too much higher without being ridiculously overblown. By the end of this preseason, and when most people are do their drafts, is Evan Ingram.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. At this point, go ahead, but I really do think that's a good one.
This guy, we already know what he can do, and what he can do is get a bunch of balls thrown his way. In his rookie season, he had 115 targets and 64 catches. And again, most of that was without Odell Beckham on the field.
Here we go.
And last year, he had 64 targets and 45 catches, so his percentage catch rate increased. That's what I wanted to see. I was very reluctant on him the first year because he had barely over 50%. And that's not good when you're getting that many targets.
Yes.
If you can get 65, 70% catch rate, this guy's going to catch almost 100 balls. He might rival Zach Ertz's season last year.
We'll have to see. I don't want to completely go that far, but because we're going to have a battle between Eli Manning and Daniel Jones, and from what I saw from Daniel Jones, didn't look half bad last preseason game. So
he's Allen Iverson. He doesn't do good in practice. Who cares about practice? But he stepped onto the field in that preseason game and went like 6 for 6 and threw a touchdown in the first drive. I was like, all right, well, maybe they...
Yeah, a lot. I noticed that, obviously Mayfield did really well in his preseason debut, and so did Sam Darnold. So I'm just like, okay, I got to calm down a little bit.
A little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think Daniel Jones has a really good chance of taking that spot, even if Eli Manning doesn't completely suck. Right. If he's just okay and they think that they can do better with Daniel Jones, maybe they just put him out there. And we'll see what happens when it comes to Evan Ingram. That could be, they could have a huge hookup right there. You never know.
I don't think it's going to matter.
It probably doesn't matter.
Who the quarterback
is
really because Golden Tate is not a guy who gets a lot of separation. He's a good route runner.
He's not anywhere close to Odell Beckham.
Sterling Shepard's not a huge threat.
Sterling Shepard is the epitome of a second wide receiver.
Right.
He's never going to be a number one. And Golden Tate is like, to me, he's a number two at this point in his career. He's not a number one. So they have 2 twos, and they have what I think is their best receiver in Evan Ingram.
And the guy who might lead the team in catches is in the backfield. Saquon Barkley still might have the most catches on that team by the end of the year, but I think Evan Ingram could if they're actually throwing the ball down the field. So that ends our tight ends.
That's tight ends.
All right, we're going to running backs, and we'll do a couple, and then we haven't done too many this year, but we've got a couple of ESPs.
We do have some ESPs.
So I think I will let you start with running back.
My first man crush, and if you've been listening, like I've said, it's James White. Right now he's being drafted mid-6th round, sometimes later than that, which is insane to me because I'll put it this way. My fantasy league has him projected for 222.5 points, which is an average about 14 points per game, which is pretty decent. Now let's look at Sony Michel and what my fantasy league projects for him. And that's 228 points per game, which is about to take him in the draft? Which is about 14 points or 228 points for the season, 14 points per game. So almost exactly the same amount of projected points. And Sony Michel you have to take in the 4th round as opposed to mid to late 6th round.
Do we have another Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders situation
this
here?
Is exactly the same. Let's remember what James White did last year. He was amazing. And now everybody seems to overlook him and just completely say, whatever, it's going to be Sony Michel, which it very well could be, but James White's going to have
James White
perfectly fine year
after year.
Yes.
I love him too, obviously. We loved him from the start. We hated that he went to the Patriots. But being from Wisconsin, we were rooting for him anyway. All right. Well, my first man crush is a guy that, with all the events surrounding Oakland, is a guy that I believe is going to be on the field a lot.
Yeah.
And he's going to catch a lot of balls, but he's not a wide receiver. He's a running back. And that is Mr. Jalen Richard.
Okay.
This guy doesn't even get drafted in a lot of leagues. And if you're in a PPR league, just please take this guy in the last round.
Yep.
Please.
Yep.
There's nothing bad that can come of taking this guy
Absolutely
in
not.
the last round, and you might just have a James White type running back.
It's very possible. You got to think to yourself for a second here. Who are you going to take in the last round? You always just, whatever. I'll just
if
take
you got
this
to
guy.
have kickers and defenses, that's
who you're taking in the last round. But if you don't have to, you're probably just taking a flyer on somebody, and this is a perfect flyer right here. I absolutely love it. I completely agree with you.
Man crush.
Oh man! All right, I'll get to my next one. And if this is probably one of my biggest man crushes this year because I've talked about him so many times, and that's Aaron Jones. I don't know what else I need to say because if you've been listening, I bring it up every week. It seems like, but do I need to say it anymore? Last year he had the highest average per rush.
Yeah.
And now he has a new coach who ran the ball a ridiculous amount, and it's not going to be just the Aaron Rodgers show. He's going to a team that threw the ball a ton, way more than they should have, and he's going to balance that out. Aaron Jones is going to have a really, really good year. He keeps climbing my rankings. I just keep saying, all right, I like him more than this guy. Well, I like him more than this guy now. Oh, wow. It kind of surprises me a little bit. And I really believe Aaron Jones is going to have a great year.
Yeah, you have definitely convinced me about Aaron Jones. And I watched just a few rounds. The fantasy footballers had their celebrity draft. And these guys knew what they were doing. Zach Efron was in this, and he had one of the better teams drafted. I was a little surprised.
Yeah.
But at the fantasy footballers had they had the turn picks. And they got to, I think it was the end of the third, and because it was only a 10-team league. So this is basically a mid-third round pick in 12-team leagues. And they're like, we have to get Aaron Jones here. That's the pick.
Yeah.
All three of them are like, we have to get Aaron Jones.
Yep.
There's nothing else left. And if they're saying it and we've been saying it, the only thing that can stop this guy is an injury.
I really do believe that. I mean, that's a possibility with him because we've seen it in the past. But even if it's Aaron Jones, then you got Williams sitting right behind him. That's another guy. Is he even getting drafted?
Oh no!
Unless at this point,
by the Aaron Jones.
Yeah,
owners.
that would be the case at that point. But yeah, completely just in love in love with Aaron Jones this
And
year.
I don't know if I mentioned it. I know I wanted to on a past episode where we talked about this guy. Last season, he didn't touch the ball between his attempts and catches more than 20 times in a single game and not more than 17 rushes in any game. And every time he got that many, 72 yards and a touchdown, 78 yards and a touchdown, 145 yards and 2 touchdowns, 86 yards and a touchdown. And that's on 12 carries.
Yes.
This guy is insane if he can just get the opportunity and the Packers decide to run the ball a little more.
I really do believe that he's going to get that opportunity. If he gets the opportunity and completely goes, it's just terrible, then whatever. But right now, it's based on the opportunity and what he's done last year, and this could be huge.
This could be very huge. And my next one,
Man crush.
it's just a whisper, because I'm still liking this person.
Okay.
But the rookie that this team drafted has been going in like the 4th round.
Oh.
And this guy's being undrafted. And we have the other guy, the other running back in this backfield in a dynasty league. I'm talking about the Chicago Bears backfield. Tariq Cohen is Tariq Cohen.
Yeah.
He is great in a PPR league. He's even better in leagues like the Flag where you can get punt and kick return yards. And everybody is on David Montgomery.
Yeah.
The fantasy footballers wanted to take him in like the 4th round. Like, let's get him. I'm like, I can't quite see it. I think now it might not be an amazing season, but I think there's going to be more of a shared backfield between these 3 guys than everybody else thinks there is. Because Mike Davis, when he touches the ball, he's good.
Yeah.
He averages, 4.5 yards a carry, and he catches the ball. And I don't know what more you expect out of a guy like that in the Chicago Bears offense. That's why they signed him.
Yeah, I completely. I've ever since this is one of the guys that you've convinced me on, Mike Davis. I convinced you on Aaron Jones. You're flipping it on Mike Davis for me because I didn't think anything of him. I was thinking Montgomery the whole time, and then all of a sudden Mike Davis came into the picture. I was like, you know what? You might be right about this. And so I've been looking into him, and he's been really. Throughout the years that he's been playing, like you said, he's been good when he's on the field. And I think that this is one of these guys that is just going so late in drafts that it is such a value. If he does anything, it's exactly what you needed out of that guy because you got him that late.
There's about 3 guys on my list that you can take in the last round.
Yeah.
Is that wrong?
No, that's right.
But I want all of them, and I don't have 3 last rounds. I can't keep taking these guys. Like I got to pick 1, maybe 2 to take in those last rounds. So which ones am I going to go? I mean, I guess it depends on the league. If it were standard, I'd go Davis over Richard. But if
Standard,
it's PPR,
yes.
I'm going Richard over Davis.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you have more than 1 running back left?
I just got my ESP.
All right, then I guess we will have to go right into it.
ESP Early Season Predictions.
I guess I'll take it. I'll take it first. All right, guys, I made this up. I'm going to read you what I made up because I typed it all out. That's how confident I was in this. My ESP is about Carlos Hyde. This was made before Andy Reid said that there's going to be a running back by committee. So put that on the back burner.
And also after they said Damian Williams was going to be the main guy.
Yes. I've said it's ever since they said Damian Williams was going to be the main guy, I'm thinking, no, it's going to be Carlos Hyde's going to be something.
He is.
All right, so this is what I read before we got the news of them splitting the carriers or whatever they're going to do. If you don't think the Chiefs are going to use Hyde, then you're fooling yourself. Number 1, Damian Williams will miss a couple games. I almost guarantee it. Listen to this, okay? I found this.
I'm listening.
It's a study by Sports Health. It says, in the elite athlete, hamstring injuries cause prolonged absences from competition and have high reoccurrence rate. Given the financial and competitive concerns associated with professional athletes, the time to return to activity is of particular importance to the athlete and the team. Thus, Thus, there is pressure on the medical staff and athletic trainers to return an athlete to competition as soon as possible. Mm-hmm. That's wrong. You shouldn't be doing that.
Very wrong.
Failing to properly rehabilitate or returning to competition prematurely can result in further injury and or a chronic strain. How many times have I said something about
too many
hamstring injuries?
I know
they said it wasn't a hugest deal with him.
Doesn't matter.
But we're already talking about running back by committee, okay? Second, I don't think they want Williams to handle the entire workload. This was all written before. They said they were running back by committee. Okay, guys? So I can see Hyde being a lot bigger than people think. He's going in the 10th round right now, and it's probably going to change now because of this running back by committee thing.
Yes.
So it's time to pay attention to Carlos Hyde. My prediction is that Hyde will, at the end of the season, will be the number 1 running back for the Chiefs.
That's quite a bold prediction.
It's a prediction, but I believe it.
I'm not sure if it's as bold as mine.
Okay. Do it.
I'm scared because I have been kind of like on the Aaron Jones deal. I've been coming around, and every time I look and see the position that this team is in, I keep seeing this vision of a league-leading rusher.
You gotta spill it, man.
Derrick Henry.
Oh, man. Wow. Okay. All right. That's fine. Go for it.
He averaged about 5 yards a carry.
Yeah.
Last season. That, if he can get 300 carries, that's 1,500-ish yards. That is enough that could lead the league in rushing. Because last year, he only had 215 touches. That Titans offense was a little weird. They had issues. Their defense carried them. This year, I think Derrick Henry is going to touch the ball way more, and he is going to legitimately take the rushing title.
That is a stretch, no doubt about that. I'll say this about Derrick Henry: he surprised me last year. I thought he was going to be absolute garbage, and maybe not absolute garbage. I just didn't think he was going to be as good as people were thinking he was going to be. And then, like the last 6 games of the season, he was off, and I was completely proven wrong. And I've never been like high on him, but this year I haven't really been low on him. Every time I see his name, like I always consider it.
Yes.
That's a big thing for me if I'm considering Derrick Henry. So I'm fine with it. You had ESP last year on Devontae Adams. It completely correct. So I'm going to let you do it, and maybe I'm going to have to start considering Derrick Henry even more.
I have been taking him more and more in drafts. I was just going to look up. Couldn't remember. I've done so many mocks lately. If I took Derrick Henry in our 100th episode, spectacular. But it's there's something about it. This is just an ESP.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't have to have too much of a reasoning behind it. But last year, we had some good ones, and right now, that's what I'm on. I'm on Derrick Henry.
I like
doing
it.
Everything. And yes, I did take him in that mock
Very
draft.
good, yeah.
I believe I took him in the mock that I did last night for the charity league, and I'm like, I keep ending up with him because it's like
it's a good value.
The 4th round,
it's a good value.
I really think
Yep.
I'm on him more than guys like Leonard Fournette.
When we do this draft, we're taking Aaron Jones and Derrick Henry if we can.
I've already got him in multiple leagues. Am I putting all my eggs in one basket?
No, we don't want to do that. But if we really believe it and it's a good value, I never have a problem taking a good value. I don't care how many times I got the guy on my team. If it's a good value, I go with it.
Yep. That's value and consistency.
Yes.
Hopefully these guys will be consistent enough. Most of them have been consistent when healthy.
Yeah.
And that's, of course,
that's
the
biggest
key. Yep, biggest key to fantasy football. you have the option to play these guys all year long, you're going to be fine. But if you don't have the option and you're shopping the waiver wire and you're taking what's left off other people's teams, it's going to be a long year. But that is going to wrap up this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed and take what we say with these guys seriously. We are high on these guys. This isn't just for fun. I honestly believe in every single one of these guys. If they all get the chance, is going to be some of the concern with guys like Mike Davis. Will he get the chance, and will he
Same with Keyshawn Johnson.
Exactly.
I don't know exactly what's going to happen there, but I like him, and I really believe he's going to be something.
Yep. All right. Well, I guess we should probably put these guys on the website.
Yeah, sure.
On
Let's do
our rankings page.
Absolutely.
FantasyFuelPodcast.com. We'll go there. We'll put our man crushes up there, and we should probably put our ESPs up there too.
We should start doing the ESPs on there. I agree with that.
ESPs on there too.
Yeah.
It's getting close. Preseason week 1 is over. We don't have too much time. We have less than a week. Before the Midwest Fantasy Football Expo.
Getting ready.
It's going to be insane. We're driving up on Saturday. It's going to be a long drive.
That's going to be our next episode, correct?
Yeah.
As long as everything goes smoothly.
Yes. If we have the options, we might even record or maybe do something on Twitch on Saturday night or something, or maybe on the drive. We can do Twitch in the car.
We could try. We'll find out.
We'll see what happens. But, we might have a lot of time to talk with you guys on the drive there and the drive back.
Oh, yeah.
So that'll be fun. But you can catch us Facebook.com /FantasyFuel, Twitter @FantasyFuel. You can find us everywhere. Just type in Fantasy Fuel in any of your podcast search engines, iHeartRadio, Spotify, all that good stuff. Check out the MidwestFFExpo.com website. Again, less than a week away. If you want a ticket, go there. Type in the word fuel. You get $5 off your ticket. That's awesome. Fullsports.com. You saw it earlier in the episode.
Yeah.
We were just trying to talk about some polls, and people were making them left and right, and it's only going to be even more popular as the season gets closer. So please get on that. Check them out. And if you're into audio dramas, I'm in one called The Veiled Monarch, and pretty soon there will be another one called The Veiled West.
Yep.
And hopefully even more than that. That's neither here nor there, but that's another passion of mine. Any last thoughts?
Boy, I can't wait for the regular. I feel like I say it every week. I can't wait for the regular season to start. Preseason has gotten me into it.
There's not enough time to prepare for it, and yet it's not getting here soon.
Yeah, that does feel that way. You're right.
All right, that does it for us. Again, thank everybody. Thank you all for listening. We appreciate it. Don't forget, stay fueled up. It's fantasy season.